Welcome everyone to my channel. If you haven't been here before, pull up a seat, sit down. We are going to talk about Percy Jackson and The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. Perfectly paced, with electrifying moments chasing each other like heartbeats, whatever. Percy Jackson is about to be kicked out of boarding school again, and that's the least of his troubles. Lately, mythological monsters and the gods of Mount Olympus seem to be walking straight out of the pages of Percy's Greek mythology textbook and into his life. And worse, he's angered a few of them. Zeus's master lightning bolt has been stolen, and Percy is the prime suspect. Now, Percy and his friends have just 10 days to find and return Zeus's stolen property and bring peace to a warring Mount Olympus. But to succeed on his quest, Percy will have to do more than catch the true thief. He must come to terms with the father who abandoned him, solve the riddle of the oracle, which warns him of betrayal by a friend, and unravel a treachery more powerful than the gods themselves. The movie that I watched of the Percy Jackson series, I thought he was older. That was like 16, 15, 16. He's 12. But the movie and the book are almost parallel in everything that they do. So that's a good thing, because I've already seen the movie. So the book and the movie are practically the same. He does get kicked out of a boarding school. His stepfather is an asshole. His mother gets taken by Hades because Hades thinks that Percy stole his helm of darkness. Everybody thinks Percy did it, though how they think Percy did it when he was never at Mount Olympus is beyond me. But Ares did frame Percy, along with the help of Luke, who he thought was his friend. Okay, I'm doing a terrible job at this, guys. I just really want to talk about the fact that I was a little disappointed that he's 12 years old in this instead of, like, of a better age. Because, like, why are you sending a 12-year-old on such a fucking dangerous mission cross-country to sit there and go into a realm that belonged to gods to face off against an actual god? And he's a demigod. He can die. Gods can't, but he can. And just, like, expect him to come out triumphant. It's a terrible quest for him to have. Though, it does help that he does have Grover, who is a satyr, who's might be young for a satyr, but is definitely older than Percy. And Annabeth, who is, like, it makes her seem like the movie she's a teenager, so isn't Luke. But they're not teenagers. Luke and Annabeth are adults. So she's 13. But Luke was 14 when he came to it. So he's 20. Luke is 20. And Luke is the father of Hermes, which is, Hermes has a lot of children, apparently. And so then Athena and Ares and others, but Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon are not supposed to have any more children. But Zeus had a kid, Athalia, who died and became a big oak tree who helps protect the Camp Half-Blood. And, of course, Percy, who's Poseidon's son. He does do a lot of, he does use water for himself and others, not others, for himself. He literally falls, like, a lot of feet into a river and swims to the bottom of an ocean to speak with somebody who represents his father, because he's not actually allowed to be in the presence of his father without other gods around. So, really, just read the book, watch the movie. I can't really think how I want to talk about this, because, like, the plot doesn't really I mean, it makes sense, but it shows that, obviously they're, not able to pay attention to shit, the gods, okay? Because Zeus and Hades both believed that Percy had been at Mount Olympus when Percy hadn't even known until after he got expelled from his last school that he even had anything to do with the gods in any way, shape, or form. Like, how, when he never knew who he was. And at the time that he was in New York City, he lives in New York City. What do you mean you thought he went to Mount Olympus when he lives in New York City? It's not like it could be anywhere else. It's where him and his mother lived, was New York City. I mean, come on. That little plot right there. But my most stickler is that he's 12 and he has to go cross country. He meets a Gorgon. Fuck, I know her name. Medusa. He actually meets Medusa and wins against her with a mirror. That's kind of funny. He also sits there and survives fighting Ares and wins because he disarms Ares with a sword technique that Luke taught him. And he went in, and actually, he's the one who realized when they were inside the hotel, the casino, that something wasn't right. He put together and grabbed the two companions and pulled them out and said, like, look, guys, we gotta go. He's the one who thinks about the idea of destructing Cerberus, but Annabeth's the one who figures out how to do it. Gets Charon to let them go onto his boat. It's kind of funny how he's got a different, like, spelling for his name. Where is it? Krusty was... Who was Krusty? Oh, Procrucius, the Stretcher. He gets involved, and he actually tricks him and cuts off his head. Charon. So, Charon to do it, and he talks to Hades about upping it, and Hades like, I don't want a war. I got too many souls, too many subjects. I don't need a war. I just want my helmet. And I want people to stop dying. It's like, I don't want a war. So, he's sitting there like, the helmet? And he's trying to figure out about it. But of course, the bag that was given to him by Ares, when he met Ares, who helped him after he sat there and got his shield back. Of course, it was a trap done by Aphrodite's husband. Because, you know, he does that. Gives him a bag that has the bolt in it. And it was only to appear when he went into the underworld. Grover almost got pulled to Tartarus because these pair of I guess this is where it differs a little bit, is that the flying shoes that Luke gives him, Grover was wearing them, and they almost sat there and pulled him into the underworld, but they slipped off, and Grover didn't go down, which means the Master Bolt didn't go down to Tartarus. I don't know what Tartarus is. I can't believe I forgot it. When Percy realizes that his mother can save herself from Hades, he uses his pearls, which reclaim him back to the sea, to sit there and teleport them, or get them out of the underworld, away from Hades, because Hades was not going to let them go, because he didn't believe Percy. And he confronted Ares fought him, won Ares, got the helm, told Ares he was dumb and shouldn't listen to whoever it was because the person was goading him because Ares wanted a war because he's the god of war. Of course he wants fucking war. He's a god. And in a clash between 3 most powerful gods, yeah, that would have been a fabulous war for Ares to be a part of. After choosing a side, of course. So, Percy goes to Mount Olympus, which is the Empire State Building, I believe. All the way up to the 666th floor, I believe it is. And gives back the bolt to Zeus. And gives the helm to Hades. And actually speaks to his father. And learns his father is actually proud of him and happy to have him alive. And that he wished he could be with his mother. Also, he freed his mother from Gabe by leaving Medusa's head with his mother because Percy's father, Poseidon, sent the head back. Well, he sent the head to Percy's home. Because what Percy did is when he cut off the head from Medusa, he sent it to Mount Olympus. So Poseidon sent it to his mother, so that way if his mother wanted to get rid of Gabe, because now Gabe isn't needed to cover the stench of Percy being a god's son. And then you have Luke's betrayal at the end where he finds out that, yeah, Luke did betray, and Luke's now gone. And Percy almost died from a pot scorpion who almost killed, that injected him with the venom, and he almost died from it because the water wouldn't heal him. The one time it didn't. Because other times it did. And he could breathe in it. And his clothes wouldn't be wet. Interesting. Don't get me wrong, I did enjoy the book. I did enjoy it. I read it. It was good. I didn't DNF it. I mean, like, I liked the movie. So obviously I was going to like the book. I'm going to give it a 3.5. Simply his age. 12-year-olds should not be going around especially when they don't have powers or when they don't know how to use their powers. Go around fighting. Yeah. They really shouldn't. So my favorite character would have to be Grover, because all he wanted to do was search for the god Pan, which is the god of the forest and animals and satyrs, and bring him back to save the earth. And my most disliked character is Luke, because he allows Kronos to get into his head and manipulate him into doing his bidding. Because that's what it was. Kronos talked to Luke about the fact that, you know, his trial, his quest was stupid and dumb and he hasn't been able to leave, and he can't actually leave the camp, even though he's 20. And can most definitely leave now. And so he's like, well, you could serve me as your master and we can do things. And you give me the helmet, you give me the bolt of lightning from Zeus, and I can return. Of course, Zeus wants to hear nothing about Kronos, because he doesn't believe he can return. But when he does let Chiron know, who is a centaur, about it, Chiron goes to tell Zeus about the fact that Luke was following the orders of Chiron, and that's who actually stole the items, and now Luke is on the loose doing the bidding of Kronos. And they're like, we're gonna prepare because you're a hero. Chiron knows something that the Oracle did not know, something about Percy's future that Percy doesn't know and wants to know, but at the same time Chiron's like, it's better not to know the future, because, you know, you can't gauge it. Because the future that he had in here, the ones that he had to listen to: you shall go west and face the god who has turned, Ares. You shall find what was stolen, see his safe return, the bolt and the helm. You shall be betrayed by one who calls you a friend, Luke. And you shall fail to save what matters most in the end. That is what I don't... I guess it'd be his mother. He didn't save his mother, who mattered the most to him. And he did convince Annabeth to try again to go home to back to her dad's, to try to be with her dad again. Because her dad obviously wants to be with her, even though at first he didn't. He seems like he was like pushed off after after she was left with him, and he said he didn't want a daughter. But obviously he regrets that and wants something to do with it. And at the end of this, Percy goes home and says to his dad, like, I'll be back next summer. Flop. I'll survive until then. After all, I am your son. Okay, so he decides to go home and be with his mother. What's that as memorable? The gods are a little dumb in this. Because if Zeus and Hades didn't pay attention to who came into Mount Olympus to tour it, and didn't watch them, because even though they're the children of gods, obviously they can't do nothing mischievous or evil, obviously. Still should have watched them and knew who was there, at least by their faces, so you could look and go, oh, Percy looks nothing like any of the kids that were there, so I can't have been him. They're a little dumb. Including Ares. Ares is like all about strength. He's really dumb. I don't think I have a favorite passage from the story. Not really. I don't think I do. This has been all over the place. And I don't have a favorite quote, because I wasn't really paying attention to that. I was just reading the book and enjoying it. As you see, I didn't even bookmark it, because I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. So I don't know. That's why I didn't mark it up or anything like that, because I don't know if I'm going to keep it. Obviously, I'm going to read the next book of the series, The Sea of Monsters. Percy Jackson and The Sea of Monsters. But, Percy Jackson and Olympians, The Sea of Monsters. So, obviously, I want to read that, because this was actually interesting, and I do want to read more, because I like Greek gods, Egyptian gods, Japanese gods. Let's see, what are the gods? Norse gods. I like stories that revolve around that kind of stuff. I do. It's interesting to me in a lot of ways. So I'm still interested to read more about this and learn more, because I actually have not seen the movie The Sea of Monsters, and I've actually not read the book, so this will be stepping into something brand new, and I'm going to see whether I'm not going to continue reading from there, because if the second book doesn't grip me, because I think I'll be 13 during that adventure, still a little too young for me, but he'll probably have better control over his magic, water, manipulating water and shit. So there is that. What I thought about the ending of the book. Obviously, it sets it up for the next one. Because, there's going to be more going on in Percy's life, because his oracle prophecy that was given to Chiron is not done. Okay? It's not. And Chiron reveals that it's not. What book did it remind me of? I don't think it reminded me of any book, really. Not any book that I have read. Maybe a book that I haven't read it could remind me of. Or maybe this one will remind me of a book I haven't read yet. When I read it. I don't know. But it was actually, as it says in the back, I didn't see anything wrong with it, with its pacing or anything like that. It was perfectly paced and easy to read, and it had its action, and it had its tense moments, and it had its a little bit of relaxation, and it had its confusions, and he was lurching from one issue to the next, but it was in a more timely lurch. Deal with one issue and then another one will crop up. Because, he does defeat what is called a Kindly One, and then learns that, doesn't learn. He goes home to his mother, and they go up on a trip, and on this trip, they get attacked by the Minotaur, and that's when he learns a bunch of stuff about himself, and then he goes to Camp Half-Blood, and he learns more things about it. Well, after losing his mother, because he does defeat the Minotaur too, and he gets a trophy for it. And while he's sitting there playing a game, he does learn he is the son of Poseidon. So then he goes on to a quest, and this quest goes on and leads him through a series of events, and some of them are like a little non-rush, because I mean, like, they go up onto this viewing platform to view something. I don't remember what it was, and he gets attacked, and then he jumps into some water. He gets talked to by somebody, and he comes out of it, and they have to run away. So, you know, it has little relaxing moments in there to not necessarily release the tension, but hold it in place before more tension winds in. Because you have, like, the tension is there, like, when he first defeats the kindling one on a school trip, and then, you know, he's going with his mother, and he's got to deal with Gabe, so there's a little tightening of the tension between him and his stepfather, and his mother being mistreated. And then they go on this vacation, which just holds the tension, because he's like, well, why do you stay with him? Like, why can't we leave? And she's like, there's a bunch of things I haven't told you. You're not ready yet. And then, you know, Minotaur attacks, so the tension gets a little tighter. And his mom dies, and it gets a little tighter. And he's at a camp, and he's learning a bunch of stuff. And the tension's just still there, because, you know, his mother, he thinks his mother's dead. And he thinks he's alone in the world. And, you know, doesn't know anything. And then he learns that he's got a father, and then he's got to learn about that. So, it's a perfectly cog that tightens attention, but also keeps attention into the down moments, because there's still stuff at stake, and there's still stuff in the background that he has to worry about, but it's not full frontal in front of your face at that point in time. It's just taking a little backseat, but it pokes you every now and then. Just every now and then. This book, as you know, is part of a series. Now, there is, according to this book that I have here, 5 of them in this series, but there's also more, of course, because Rick Riordan has a lot of books based around the gods, the Olympian gods. I think I also have the Heroes of Olympians, which is Next Chronicles, and that has five books as well. So there's those. I think there's actually another book that he's officially written for Percy Jackson that's supposed to have come out this year, I think, or maybe next year. I don't really recall, but I ain't gonna read it until after I've read the rest of them. So we'll get on that, right? You already know my rating for this, and I think I've blabbed on enough in my own incoherent manner. Yeah. So, if you think I deserve a like, comment, or even a lovely subscription, why don't you go ahead and drop it down below. I will see you next illusion.